Hello and welcome to Edekimi's YouTube channel and editorial discussion for 26th May 2022. My name is Harsh Singh, and in this video we shall discuss an important editorial, in fact an important theme from the perspective of many editorials, that is around Indo-Pacific Economic Forum. This discussion will entail what has been the context of formation of this forum by USA, why the countries are rallying around this group, what are the important terms under this, what are the challenges and opportunities in this particular forum. We will also understand the previous initiatives of trade facilitations which did not fail to materialize for USA and India, what have been the reasons for it. And if you like this initiative, share some love through likes, comments, and shares. This editorial is important from the perspective of GS Paper 3 Economy and GS Paper 2 International Relations. All right. The previous forums, Trans Pacific Partnerships, it was being discussed amongst 12 countries which were on the two sides of the Pacific. Is India a member of this? No, India is not, because India is not on the one of the sides of Pacific. Is America a member? America was negotiating, but America backed out, and hence the agreed agreement, which was not called as TPP, it was called as CPTPP, Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. It was between 11 countries, initiated in the year 2018. So who are the members? See, this is what UPSC can actually ask, and they have been asking questions on these fronts. So USA is not a member, India is not a member. So who are the members? 11 members, 4 on the Americas side. So we see Peru and we see Chile on South American side, and Mexico and Canada on the North America side. And when you see of the 7 countries on the Asian and Australian side, we have Australia, New Zealand, Japan, 3 of them, and there are 4 small countries. So South Korea is also not a part of it, and there are 4 more countries here, which are Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Brunei. All right. So 4 of these ASEAN countries, Japan, 2 of Australasian countries, 4 on the American side, 11 countries here. There has been another important agreement. 2 agreements have been really important. One is the CPTPP and the other one is RCEP, Regional and Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Now, is India a member of this? No. Was India negotiating in this? Yes. India too was negotiating in this, just like America was negotiating in in fact, TPP, and India backed out at the last moment because of low tariff or no tariffs. Now, India and America is very fearful of the way China can actually impose its goods in these countries. So they backed out on these kind of agreements. Now, RCEP, Regional and Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Now, this partnership is a partnership of 15 countries. Which are these 15 countries? This one will not at all be tough for you to remember. It is because they are all the countries on the Asian and Australasian side, right? And out of these 15 countries, which are the countries here? All the members of ASEAN. Along with that, we have China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand. That means ASEAN was a group, is a group, and ASEAN plus 3 is another group. China, Japan, and South Korea, ASEAN plus 3. And then we have another group called as ASEAN plus 6, which is ASEAN plus Australia, New Zealand, and these 3 and India together. And India is out of this agreement, and rest all the countries are a part of this. So do remember, this is not Trans-Pacific. This is not Pacific included. This is not Asia Pacific, right? This is only the Australasian and Asian side. So that is why RCP was negotiated, and it also began its pact. It is initiated, right? So these are the countries as a part of it, 15 countries. Now, there was an East Asia summit also. They have been negotiating trade and facilitation of trade, all this. So ASEAN plus 6 countries that we just discussed, plus USA and Russia, they have been a part of this. But when we actually formulated this RCEP, we did not have USA, Russia, and India chose to remain out of it. So ASEAN plus 5 countries were a part of it. This is East Asia Summit, which was initiated in the year 2005, and then later 2011, USA and Russia also became a part of this East Asia Summit. Okay, and then another one, final, APEC, Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, 21 member economy surrounding the Pacific, initiated in the year 1989. Is India a member of it? No, India is not. Why is India not a member of this? India is not a member of this because this is Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation and largely China led forum. So all the important nations around Pacific would be a part of this, right? Now, many nations are not a part of it. For example, Myanmar is not a part, and then we have Cambodia and Laos not as a part. Right, so there are a few countries here which are not a part of this. North Korea, of course, is not a part, but then there are 21 members here, and out of these 21 members, we had some countries which initiated the TPP out of this Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. So there were 12 countries which were discussing this, out of which 11 of them formed the agreement, right? So please remember these names. Let's get on to the actual discussion, which is around Indo-Pacific Economic Forum. What is the conversation and why so? See, we now know that USA has not been a part of the other forums, right? Just like USA was not a part of the CPTPP, Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement on Trans-Pacific Partnership. India also has not been a member of another forum, that is Regional and Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Now, when India and America are not a part of these forum, are they not getting excluded? Yes. Yes, possibly they are getting excluded and they need to initiate a new partnership. But then these countries are also somehow protectionist in nature. Both seek to build domestic industries. See, America accuses China of its trade relations with America because there's a huge trade deficit. India also is accused by America as tariff king, right? America says that you impose a lot of trade on our taxation on our Harley Davidson or our Tesla cars. तो भैया कौन खरीदेगा इन गाड़ियों और बाइक्स को यहाँ पर? Nobody purchases them. On the other hand, America says that your Royal Enfield are very cheap in America, and then America says that we will impose something on this. Similarly, the agricultural products that are intaken by America, they have some tariffs. Movement of people also is restricted in America from developing countries. So there are many protectionist regime, and they only encourage domestic industry. India also does this, right? This is reality. So therefore, they have not been a part of these kind of treaties, so that the treaties don't backfire. So now they say that we are initiating another partnership called as the Indo-Pacific Economic Forum. Now, is it a trade agreement? Is it going to have tariffs reduction? No, it has been clarified by Mr. Biden that there will be no tariff reduction. There is no partnership on those fronts. But then this economic forum will initiate something. What will it initiate? An economic partnership between the nations which are participants. What kind of economic partnership? They are dependent on four different factors. We will discuss them shortly. So, and this is favorable to many of the countries. So that is why around 13 countries have shown interest, America and India included. Now, Quad. See, you would say Quad is already there. Now we are discussing all this. Quad is discussing resilient supply chains, infrastructure, energy, anti-corruption, fair taxation. Quad is only a platform for discussion, political discussions. They meet, click photographs, discuss, and they go back. Right? So, gimmick, political, it is to show in the media that something is happening between us. But then the real economic partnership, one agreement will have to be formed, which they are calling as Indo-Pacific Economic Forum, right? So what it would do is that it would restore US's economic leadership in the region. USA always would want to show that we are not only military leaders but also economic leaders in Asia, right? So this is one thing. It will restore US's economic leadership position in Asia Pacific region, in Indo-Pacific region. This is one. Then this will initiate robust supply chains. All this we will understand this. Each of this. And is it a free trade agreement? Not at all. 13 nations which are joining, Quad nations, all four Quad nations, USA, India, Australia, Japan, and then some other nations in Indo-Pacific region, right? Brunei, Indonesia, South Korea. They have proposed that they would join this forum. Now, is it good or not? Let's discuss that. So, first of all, the countries will have to sign up all the components with a pillar. Now, so what is this kind of agreement? There are four pillars in this. Four pillars are: one pillar being trade, another being supply chain resilience, the third being clean energy and decarbonization, and the fourth is tax and anti-corruption. Now, any country joining will have to sign one pillar or two pillar or three or four or any of these, any combination of this. But once you sign any combination of this or all of this, you will have to abide by all the principles which have been put inside this. And it is not a necessity that you join all of these these pillars. You can join only tax and anti-corruption. You can join only supply chains and resilience. And if you feel that for your economy, trade and tax and anti-corruption is important, you can join that, and you need not join the clean energy and supply chain resilience. So it is totally up to you. So this is free, but just that there are economic partnerships for betterment of economic principles. Simple example is trade. When trade will happen, they will ensure that this is transparent. When trade will happen, they will ensure that this is against corruption or their anti-corruption norms. Digital economy, e-commerce is available, and then it will also have platforms for data localization, right? This has been a controversy for India. The environment protection will also be a part of it. Similarly, when supply chain pact pillar is there, that means the countries will have to abide by this pact. There will be no hoardings. They will be against any stoppage of international supply chains, unlike what happened during COVID times when China stopped the supply of rare earth minerals suddenly, when China increased the rates of the active pharmaceutical ingredients, APIs for making medicines. So this will not happen, right? We will There will be certainty in supply chain and demand. So this is the trade agreement which is going to get initiated. Is it advantageous to India? Absolutely yes. In many fora it has been discussed now that India has to build bridges to showcase what it can deliver to the world and to serve its own interest. So it is definitely beneficial when India has not joined RCEP and India is not a part of Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC. India has requested for the membership, but right now it is not a member, right? So one, this is beneficial because India wants to build bridges for its own interests. Second, will it boost ties with other countries? Yes, it will give India the best practices or followed around the whole world for economic connectivity, integration, for being a part of supply chain, fair and shock-proof trade, and boosting trade and investment in the country. FDIs will inflow inside India. Now, if you think that all I'm speaking is something that you should just listen and pass on, no. These shock-proof trade is an important phrase in itself, must be noted. Supply chain is a must note phrase. See, India has also been accused of tax terrorism. The whole tax regime in India is said to be really rigorous and it is against the business norms. This should not happen. So India will get an opportunity to adopt the best practices. Okay, okay. So even if we don't want to become a part of clean energy and decarbonization, they might seem to be expensive to us. We can become a part of supply chain resilience and tax and anti-corruption norms. Why not? Absolutely. And we need not even open our market completely. America need not even open our market completely. Whatever we are trading, we will have to apply these global norms in those trading items, right? So this is great, yeah. And India will also become a destination for FDIs. Yes, because India is emerging economy and it will follow the best practices of environment, of trade, of taxation, of clean energy supply. This is great, right? So are there issues? Absolutely. There are two sides of the same coin. So one issue is data localization. When you start doing international trade, all the countries will want to keep their trade data with themselves, right? This is about privacy. This is about autonomy. This is about India's sovereignty. So when we purchase products from Amazon, why should Amazon USA store the data? Why not Amazon India? So this is what India contends. But there is a barrier to this. America says that you are giving a non-tariff barrier against the small businesses from the developed world. Why? How can small businesses from the developed world establish local data centers in India? So this is one contention. The other contention is constraints on Indian exports. See, America has been imposing constraints on Indian exports, be it tariff barriers, non-tariff barriers on Indian steel, aluminium, on Indian bikes. America has been proposing this on Indian food products, on movement of people. All this has been imposed. So if this kind of constraint are imposed on India, this might not work towards Quad's geopolitical goals, because see, Quad is the core of this and periphery are the other countries which are rallying around. So when the core is not happy, when India is not happy with this, then the other countries will not be happy. And you must be able to relate this to the Quad editorial discussion that we did yesterday, because Quad, when Modi ji has been put at the center of Quad, it is all because India lies at the center of Indo-Pacific Economic Forum. It lies at the center of Quad as well, and all the nations will want to make India happy and will not want to pull its leg on the issue of Russia. So that is a political talk. That's why this is an economic conversation, but they are all related. So this should not work against Quad's geopolitical goals. So this is good for India, provided constraints on Indian exports are not imposed, because India is not imposing any constraints on others. They also should not impose any constraints. Similarly, America speaks of fair trade. No, if you see, there are conversations on fair trade right here as well, right? In trade initiatives. So transparency, fair trade, data localization, all that. But America itself is not a part of fair trade game. America's domestic policy regime wants to localize all the jobs and its own products. It wants to defend its products. There is a lot of trade protectionism, and because of a lot of lobbying. So when America does not give free access to and non-tariff barriers to its own market, then this might not really work, although this is not a part of this agreement. And see, this is not a part is because whenever America has to reduce its tariff, no, import custom duties, etc., then this has to be approved by US Parliament, US Congress, and there is no voting that is going to happen on Indo-Pacific Economic Forum. That means there is no trade negotiation at all. Okay. So if this happens, then what is this forum about? This is only about betterment, following best of the best standards of the world for trade and economy, and there will be less consequential commitments, expensive commitments like decarbonizing the economy. India need not be a part of it. Then American allies, the usual allies like Japan, Australia, South Korea, the developed world, Singapore, they will only be a part of this. So these are the issues. We are discussing a broad issue, and this does not deal with the IP, Indo-Pacific Economic Forum. It is a lot more than this, and it will help you a lot in India's economy, understanding the world economy, GS paper 3 and GS paper 2. So a quick analysis of this is this, that see, there have been previous international agreements where India said that we will not allow the labor union formation in the country. Why? So, see, actually, it is a problem for China. China does not want labor union formations. India already allows the labor union formations, but India did not speak about this in the international fora. So, India should not go against those norms which India is actually having it in its own country. And if China is economy is getting hurt, what is the problem to us? No problem. So this is one analysis. We should be pragmatic on our trade negotiations. Second, India needs to project that Atmanirbhar Bharat does not mean protectionism. We want to make for India, make in India, and we want to make for the whole world. So this is not protectionism or isolationism, right? We are there for you. We are there for the whole world. And third, India must discuss this with all the ministries, all the stakeholders, general public, private sector, all of them included. And no lobby should be introduced for protectionism. We must be open to the global economy. And fourth is this is an opportunity for America as well to go beyond the military approach in Asia. For example, military approach in Vietnam, military approach in Afghanistan, military approach in many other places. But then this is an economic approach, which is a good thing, right? And that is the reason that it has invited India, Thailand, Philippines as well. These are non-traditional partners of USA, right? So has America invited China? Not at all. This is a de facto organization against China. All right. So there are a few important conclusions that one can draw, and you can actually write these kind of conclusions in your answer as well. So if IPEF falters, if this does not work out, India will lose a very important way to project to the whole world what is its position on economy. How does it really want to go beyond of its bilateral trade and become a bigger partnership in cause. So it will lose a forum for showing its positions and its cause. So it should not happen. Second, the USA's internal politics should not determine the external relations. For example, USA's internal politics is against job loss and globalization, and they want to protect their own economy, right? And this is the reason that there was a trade war with China starting 2018, right? So USA must navigate in this initiative with cause, and if it is partnering with the next big economy in Asia, that is India, then it must not exclude those policies which are positive for India's growth, right? India, they must cater to this. And the third is India will go beyond bilateral pacts with this. It will go for reformation and building broad competitiveness. See, when this pact is not about trade negotiations, then what is it about? India will have the best practices for trade, best practices for environment, best practices for anti-corruption measures, best practices for data localization. So this is great initiative for India, right? Now, this is how we cover a topic like Indo-Pacific Economic Forum. We understood broad aspects of it, the precursor to this. We also understood the context of its formation, the challenges, opportunities, and what lies ahead for all the countries. This discussion has been conducted with the help of many editorials and articles. So, if you like this initiative, share some love through likes, comments, and shares. And if you've got a question, put it down in the comment section. And a question for you: mention 4 advantages and 3 issues around the new Indo Pacific Economic Forum. All right. Thank you for watching.